Hi, Zizaran here with another ritual video, and this time I'm going to be talking about my in-stacker Kinetic Blast Power Siphon. This is going to be some build guide of sorts, but it's going to be a lot less handholdy than normal. The reason for that is that this is such an expensive build. Think like at least 100 or 200 exalts if you're buying this stuff on Trade League. It's more of a long-term project that you can craft towards, so it is like a very, very hard to do build. And I just want to try to explain it as well as possible. And also, I'm going to wait with making like a full final build guide because I don't really know that Assassin is the best for this. Deadeye looks really cool, which I know Empyrean is doing, and Occultist also looks insanely strong. So I actually kind of want to try out all three. I'm just going to level all of them to like level 98 or something and just try them. But it's an insanely fun build. As you can see, I'm just like blasting screens away. Things are just vaporizing, and I don't even have that crazy gear. But the fact that I'm saying this isn't that crazy gear means that it's a very hard build to do. So let's look a little bit about the stuff I have and how I built the character. So I'm currently level 93 and I already have 1519 int. And I consider this like kind of like low for the build because I think I only have like 6 or 8 million DPS right now. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm missing quite a lot of things for this build to really pop off. So let's flashbang you guys, but I always forget what this is called. But the build kind of goes like this. In power, where like the last, if you're here, you're going to feel a lot weaker than just getting a little bit extra. I know it's non-linear, but there's a better word for it. Anyway, I always forget that word. This is what the skill tree looks like. I can upload my POB as well. We're using a Thread of Hope here, which is letting me grab Harrier, Overcharged, Coordination, Foresight, Deep Wisdom, and Arcane Focus. So this is a really nice one. I would love to like divine it to be like, you know, minus 10 rest instead of minus 20, but because like it's very hard to get resistances in this build. And other than that, I have glancing blows. I have, this is very important for the build. I have I basically need veteran defender on 2 clusters like this, and I would love if it was 8 passive skills. So I'm wasting 1 skill point here for nothing, but I do want like veteran defender fuel the fight, and here veteran defender smite the weak, and then any other damage node is great. So this one is fine. To drive the destruction is the one I want. So you want to get life leech and you want to get mana leech. These are very, very important. And then other than that, the hard thing for this build, which I'm still struggling on, is really, really nice jewels. And even though this character is very similar in int to my harvest character, but my harvest character had perfect jewels. I would say the harvest character had like 150 to 200 exalts in jewels. This is really good. This is actually beatable by rare jewels, even though it's very expensive, very hard to get. Emperor's Mastery, you get it by being the fastest player in Uber Lab. So I did that 2 days in a row just to make sure I had one, and in case I die with one. But it's very, very expensive on softcore. Let's look at the only good jewel I have. And this isn't even that good, sadly. Because area damage doesn't affect everything I have. I want attack speed, attack and cast. Damage with wands is okay. This one is slightly better. But ideally, what you really want is 4 attack speed mods or 3 attack speed mods with int. That's what you really want. And I had that in Harvest. It makes such a big difference. I had loads of people who were like at similar states of my character, and they're like, "Sis, why is my character so trash compared to yours?" And it's because you get so much power from jewels, because you're getting like an insane amount of attack speed. So all of mine are kind of low, but you can use other mods too. Like spell damage is fine because we're using One Slinger. Air damage is like kind of garbage, but it works. Damage with wands is fine. So, and crit multi is fine. So you can use other things too. I do have like a craft the build for this that I made in Harvest, and most of that is still relevant. But let's talk a little bit about the gear. It's obviously harder to get the augments and stuff that you need. I have an insane weapon. That's part of why my build already works, even though I'm like lacking a lot of gear. So I used a Deafening Essence of Wrath, and then I used the Harvest mod that says remove non-lightning, add lightning. And that first added the lightning as extra chaos, then it added lightning resist, and then and I crafted cannot roll caster mods so that I couldn't add lightning damage to spells. And then I got extremely lucky because it could choose any tier of percentage lightning damage, or it could choose this, the hunter mod, 1 to 6 lightning damage per 10 in, and that's 200 weight versus like 2000. So it's like 1 in 16, and I got very lucky and I hit it. Other than that, the best thing you can do is probably spamming Deafening Essence of Wrath until you hit the lightning attack damage, or just literally getting one with the lightning attack damage and then hoping that you hit something else good. The suffixes are pretty easy. I basically did like reroll the suffixes, then I did augment crit twice and crafted attack speed. And augmenting speed would be pretty cool too, but I can't really do that right now. And then I want to get 28 quality on this to get 1 extra % attack speed. And that is actually very, very big because we want to be a very, very fast attacking build. And right now we're fairly slow. Something I did to get some basic rings, like you can get better ones. I want to get maybe an Assassin's Mark ring or a conductivity ring. Ideally I want to turn this into conductivity. But I'm struggling a lot on resist right now. But I maybe have a chance to turn it into conductivity. My rings, what I've done on this one is I've fractured tier 1 intelligence. So I would use Deafening Essence of Spite, which I've had like 60 or 70 or something. The reason I have so many is I'm farming Heroic Hamlet with Amplified. It's like insanely good. Look how many essences I have. And that's after using a ton. And then once I had a ring with tier 1 intelligence, and I would like suggest dividing it pretty high. What I did next is I did the fracture thing, which it said something like item needs to have at least 3 suffixes, fracture 1 suffix, keeping it locked in place. And I got lucky, it hit the intelligence, and now I can just spam on this ring. I spam like reroll attack until I hit tier 1 elemental damage with attacks. Now I want to remove the fist and add high lightning damage to this. And I can get another resist here, which is going to be really, really big for me. In fact, ideally I really want to get 2 high resist because that is the struggle for the build. This ring, I just got insanely lucky while using a Deafening Essence of Spite. I hit the attributes and then I custom added everything else afterwards. So I'm still working on the prefixes, but the suffixes, pretty damn juicy because this is all attributes and int. And yeah, as you can see, it's like a lot of. Same with the amulet. I think I only used like 10 or 15 spites and I hit intelligence with percentage intelligence. And that's insane. It's insanely rare to hit. I think the average is like 200 or something. So I mean, a lot of RNG with a lot of my gear. As for like finishing the prefix here, I'm going to do remove lightning and then augment influence until I get damage per int or damage per power charge. So that's guaranteed that I'll get one of those eventually. And my boots are garbage. Like they're just Deafening Essence of Spite and I hit movement speed. I need an augment defense and then hope for the best. But yeah, hopefully we'll get something good there. My belt, I found a very, very early on, before even I decided to do this build, I had a synthesized belt as a reward from Ritual with 15% int. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Maybe I'll go and stacker this thing. You can also use the Elder percentage attributes belt. Once you get that to 15%, then it gets 18% all attributes. And that's really good and makes you immune to shock and ignite, which is nice. Other than that, the belt does need some work, but it's pretty great now. Right now, I do want to remove life and add. I don't know if it can even really add anything. It's a hard belt to continue on. The gloves, I want to use an Awakener Orb for this because I want to have an Elder. I think it's Elder and Shaper gloves. Whatever has slower projectiles, which I do believe is Shaper. My friend Embu has like really, really nice gloves that he used an Awakener Orb to make, and it has like, it's like 70 crit multi, 20 faster projectiles, 20 faster attacks, and 20 slower proj. So you basically get like 8 link gloves. And I kind of want a Maven Orb for 90 crit multi. But either way, well, like ideally I want to get rid of the attack and cast speed here and get supported by faster attacks. I want to get a anomalous kinetic blast, the one that has pierce, because then I can get rid of pierce as a support gem, and yeah, it's gonna be really, really good. As for the helmet, right now I have this same thing as the ring. I fractured int and then I just spammed with like the defense afterwards. Right now is a lot of resist, which is kind of bad because I need to replace my helmet. I'm going to do either a warlord or hunter influence helmet here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this blue. I'm going to get the beast that does imprint, which is basically like a save game for your item. I'm then going to save my item. I'm going to use the add influence to armor, and if it doesn't hit hunter or warlord, I will just revert it and it'll lose the influence. Because this enchant is huge, I really, really need it, and I want hunter for percentage hit or warlord for +1 power charge. So there's lots of things we can get there, and hopefully we will hit it. And then I have to probably use like 50-60 deafening spites to hit a really nice helmet. Current things I'm missing for this to be really good, and I've been doing like tier 13s and 15s already, but I'm feeling very, very squishy because part of this build's strength is just giga damage. People on softcore are doing 120 to 180 million DPS on occultists. I'm hoping to have like 20 to 30 million DPS on Hardcore, I'm hoping to have like 10, 11k ES, hopefully 1800 int. And I really need a Dying Sun. I really need this helmet because that is like 4 additional projectiles that I really need. And I also don't have a 21 Power Siphon, which would be an additional projectile. So currently, I am only firing 7 projectiles when I'm supposed to be firing like 12 or 13. And that is a very big deal. So I'm basically going to double my damage. So just by those things, I haven't actually checked enough with like calculating, but I think I'm around somewhere between 4 and 8 million damage right now. And that would be doubled just by those changes. So I can very easily, with also increasing the int, some higher levels, get up to like 20-25 million, which is what my last character had in Harvest. The explosion chest. The best way to craft these is basically spam Deafening Essence of Spite until you get int and percentage int. Once you have that, you get the explosion on it. You do the remove non-fizz, add fizz until you have the explosion. They're the only 3 fizz prefixes, so that's like easy. So it's basically like the video I have with how to guarantee an explosion chest. And then once you have that, you just do remove fizz, hope the reflect goes. If the reflect goes, you remove the lightning, and now you just do augment defense, and you basically have this chest except with high int and percentage int, and then you have 1 open suffix for resist or whatever. I also want to do Animate Guardian on this build. That's more of a hardcore thing, but I have the Garb of the Ephemeral or whatever it's called, which I really want to use, at least on some character. Basically, we're going to be putting this on an Animate Guardian to do nearby enemies cannot deal critical strikes. I'm going to do a Kingmaker on the Animate Guardian for crit multi and culling strike. This character has culling already, but also permanent fortify. And then I don't know what other 3 items I'm going to do. That'll be a really big boost for the character, and then I just gotta pray and hope that my anomalous Animate Guardian never dies. I'll probably be ditching my cast and damage taking support for an Animate Guardian, like full setup. So that's like a little bit about the character. It's not a character that I want to do like a super in-depth build for, because if you do need that, it's probably gonna be a struggle, because it's such a expensive build. If you can't make 100+ X, you probably can't make this build. Even with like spam farming Harvest, it's just such an expensive build. And while it is really fun, it is sort of unachievable for new players. And I want to make sure that I set that expectancy there. I don't want to give people false expectations. It's a very difficult build to do, and you do need to have a lot of knowledge to pull this off. Like, I'm struggling in Hardcore Soul Siphon, and I've been, most of my crafts for the past 14 days, where I've been doing 18-hour sessions and stuff, have been going to this build. So yeah, it's hard to do, but it is well worth it. It blasts. So I hope you guys are enjoying this, and hope it helps the people that are able to do this build. People keep asking about a build video for it, so I wanted to make one anyway. I normally don't do videos for builds this expensive. Hope it helps. Hope you guys are enjoying Ritual. I'm having a blast. Sub if you like the videos, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.